Hello everyone, I am Shagajai and welcome to the lesson 2 of our AutoCAD 2D training. In this module, we will explore the AutoCAD 2025 interface to get familiar with the workspace, essential tools, and navigation techniques. If you are new to AutoCAD, don't worry, I will walk you through every part step by step. By the end of this session, you will be comfortable navigating AutoCAD and setting up your first drawing. Let's get started. So let's see how we can launch our AutoCAD application. So I will be clicking on this AutoCAD application. I have AutoCAD 2025 installed on the system. So I will double click on it. So let's wait for the AutoCAD application to open up. Okay, so let us wait for it to open up. Right. So once AutoCAD opens, you will see the start page, which is also called the welcome screen. This screen gives you quick access to recent drawings, tutorials, and templates. So let's take a look at some of the key sections of this start page. All right. So we have this section, which is the recent drawings panel. This section shows the last few drawings you've actually worked on. So you can see some few drawings that have been worked on before. So these are some few drawings. So this is where AutoCAD gets to display some of your recent drawings. Okay. So and we have also the new drawing button. We have the new drawing button here, which is the new drawing button. Here you actually click on this drawing button to start a blank drawing. So for example, if I just click on this new button, you can see it opens up the new drawing workspace for me. So I'm just going to close this new workspace so that we can get back to our start page. Alright, so let me just close it. Alright, so we are back at our start page. Alright, then the next section on this start page is the Learn tab. Alright, so we have the Learning tab here, which actually allows you access to built-in tutorials and learning resources. Alright, and also if you look at the top here, we have the Open button here, where you can click to open up previously. For example, you have the drawing that you needed to open, so you just click on this open, so you can navigate to where the drawing file is located on your system. Okay, you can navigate to the desktop, or you have it in the document, or as the case may be. All right, so since we don't have any drawing of such for now, so I'm just going to close this. All right, okay. Now, so you can try this out by clicking on your new and open to explore how it functions, right? Okay, so let's open up our very first new blank workspace by clicking on this new tab, right? So when you click on this new tab, the first blank workspace opens up. Okay, so now let's take a tour of this AutoCAD workspace and break it down into different sections. Okay, so the first key part here we can see here is the title bar. All right, so the title bar is this, where you have the names. For example, if you look at this, you have a default file name for this drawing. Here we have a default file name, which is drawing2.dwg. Okay, drawing2.dwg. This means that this new drawing has not been saved. Right, so that's why AutoCAD uses the default name it chooses. Right, so .dwg, for example, this .dwg is the file extension name for AutoCAD file. It's extension name for AutoCAD file. So wherever you see .dwg, we rest assured that this is a AutoCAD drawing file. Alright? Okay. So the next key section we have here is the ribbon. We have the ribbon. Okay. So we have the ribbon, which comprises of we have the home, which is this home here. We have the home tab. We have the insert tab. For example, the home tab comprises of these four set of tools. So we're going to get there as we progress with this our AutoCAD training. Alright. So the next tab we have is the annotate tab, which is actually allows you to add text, dimensions, and also tables. Alright. Then we also have parametric. We have the view tab, which controls how you see your drawings, like zooming and 3D views. Okay, we have the manage tab. We have the output tab, which is used for printing and plotting your drawings. Okay, so we have the headings, we have the collaborate, we have the express tools, and of course we have the feature tabs. Okay, don't worry about how to use some of these tabs for now. Okay, this is just us going through the essential features and how to navigate through the AutoCAD workspace. Alright. Okay, so for example, you look at these home tab. The home tab comprises of key sections. Alright, comprises of key sections. For example, we have the draw sections. Then we have the modify section. We have the annotation section. We have the layer sections. We have the block section and some other mini sections, as you can see, properties, groups, and the likes. Okay, so as we proceed in the training, you get to understand how to use many of these tools under the home section. Okay, so if you click on the insert tab, so you have other sections of tools here for the insert tab. Same for the annotate. Okay, and also for the parametric, you can see their own set of tools. The views, you can see it has its own set of tools, and also manage also have its own set of tools. So invariably, all the different menu tabs that we have here have their own respective tools categories. All right, so I'm just going to click back on the home tab again. All right, so you can also go ahead and click on different tabs and explore the panels inside each one. Right, so let's also take a look at a key section, which is the command line. Okay, we call it the command line. Right, this is the command line section of the AutoCAD workspace. Now, in AutoCAD, if there's any feature that you are going to learn how to use properly, it is the command line. This command line is your best friend in AutoCAD. It's located at this bottom of the screen where you have it here, and this is where you enter commands. Instead of clicking on any of these buttons that you have at the menu, you can simply enter command. For example, I can enter a line command. For example, that is if I want to draw a line. Don't worry about how to draw a line for now. Remember, this is just an intro for you to understand the features and navigation, right? So I can just have something and draw something. All right, just simply by going to the command line to type in the command for line, right? Same way I can also in the command line. Once I click on the command line, I can type cycle. It initiates the cycle command, and I can just draw my cycle. All right, so you can see in the command line you can type any kind of command related to AutoCAD, and it gets triggered up and you can initiate almost anything. Okay, so it saves you the stress of going into each of these menus and their tools categories to begin to click. You can just type the command right away. Okay, so try typing line and draw a random line on your screen. You don't have to be perfect for now, so just understand that command line is actually where you enter commands instead of clicking buttons, right? Okay, so you can try it out. Try to draw a line, try to draw a circle or any shape of your choice, but don't fret out. Don't worry about being perfect for now. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to let me say remove all of these now. Okay, so another key section that you need to know is the status bar. Alright, is the status bar. Right? Okay, so on the status bar is found at the bottom right of your screen. Okay, every tool we have here is the status bar. Every tool we have there is the status bar. Alright, this collection of tools is known as the status bar. Right, it contains important toggles that affects how you draw. Okay, it contains important toggles that affect how you draw. So let's take a look at some of the important toggles, status bar toggles that you will be needing when you are drawing in AutoCAD. So here we have the grid mode. We have the grid mode. Now you will notice that on the workspace here, on this workspace, so let me draw. This is a workspace. This is a workspace. You will notice that you have grid lines. Okay, you have grid lines, and what we mean by grid lines is that all these lines that are appearing, this is vertical grid lines. They are lines. Alright, we also have horizontal grid lines like this. Okay, we have horizontal grid lines like this. So all these lines are there to kind of divide the layout, into equal intervals, as the case may be. Alright, so if, for example, you want to not display these grid lines, you can click on these grid lines bar here to toggle off what we have here. You can click on it. So you can click on that. You can see that the grid lines have disappeared, right? The grid lines have disappeared. So if I want the grid lines back, okay, I can just click on this grid mode again. It comes back again, right? And so the shortcut for this is function key 7, that is F7 key. Okay, so the next one is we have what we call the auto mode, which is this here. You can see where my cursor is the auto mode. So the auto mode actually restricts movement to straight, horizontal, or vertical line. So I'm going to demonstrate what this means. Remember, this lesson 2 is not about you knowing how to draw. Okay, so irrespective of the drawings I'm making now, don't worry about you not being able to know how to draw for now, right? So this auto mode, I want to explain what it is. Okay, so I'm just going to type the line command again. Okay, now let's say I want to draw a line at an angle. At a angle, I can just pick a line. You can see that I can actually move my line to whichever angles that I want to move it to. I can move it like this. I can move it like this, 360 like this, but it's easier for me. I can decide to say, okay, 39 degrees. I can move it up to increase it to 90 perpendicular, right, or 180, full 180, as the case may be. Now, this is possible. This movement is possible because the auto mode is not restricted for now. All right. So let's say I draw something like this, right? Okay. Now let's put on the auto mode. This is the auto mode. You can see. So I'm going to on it by clicking on it. You can see it has a blue. Once I click on it, once it is activated, it comes with a blue background color, right? So it means it is activated, right? So let me try to draw this kind of angular line again. All right, so I'm going to press my line command. All right, Okay, then I want to draw now. You can see I can't actually move. I can only move the line in two positions, which is straight horizontal and vertical line. I can either draw it like this. I can't move in angle. I can't move it through different angles positions, right? So it's horizontal or vertical, right? So that is the essence of either turning on or turning off the auto mode. Okay. By the time we go into more lessons video, you will really understand when and how to use the auto mode. So I'm going to off it. So I'm by clicking on the icon back. So it's off, right? Okay. Then we have the one we call the object snap. We have the one we call the object snap, okay, which is the snap mode, right? The snap mode. This snap mode is very, very important because it helps you accurately snap to points like the center of the circle and other maybe like tangent. It helps you to snap to point. For example, if you look at it, if you click on the drop down arrow beside these snap settings, you will see a snap settings here. Okay, once you click on this snap settings, it opens up a page, right, that shows you the different drafting settings for our object snap, right? For now, I will just touch basic one that you actually will be needing for a start. So by the time we advance into this training, you will get to understand every other one that is a bit advanced, right? Okay, so let me just move over to this object snap section. Okay, now before I go to this object snap, if you come over to this grid spacing, if you come over to this grid spacing, okay, now remember we talked about grid lines. Remember we talked about grid lines, which are these vertical grid lines and also the horizontal grid lines. Okay, so this is actually the settings for them. This is where you set the distance between the x grid line, that is from this point here to this point here is 0.5. Then from this point here down to this place is 0.5. So you can see that it's actually a perfect square. It's square. That's why, because it has equal spacing, right? Okay. Then so these are some of the settings for now, but I will not be boring you with many of these settings for now, so as to just make the intro very very interesting as we can for now, right? Then so let's go to this object snap that I wanted to discuss about. This is the object snap. Okay, now if you look at this object snap, recall that I said that object snap helps you to accurately snap to points like the center of the circle, tangent, perpendicular, and the like. The reason why you need to set your object snap modes is because when we are drawing, sometimes we want to pick certain points. We want to place an object on a certain point, that might be difficult to position. Okay, so the object snap, if they are activated, helps AutoCAD to display those points when my cursor is moving over that particular object. For example, if you look at these object snap mode that are activated, that means the endpoint is activated. So what do we mean by this endpoint being activated is that, let's say for example, let me put this back. The endpoint is activated, so I can click on OK back. Let's assume we click on OK. So if I pick a line and I want to continue drawing from this angle, you can see as I'm moving my cursor to the end of this, the end point of this line, shows up for me. So it's easy for me to snap to this. It is because we have been able to set the object snap mode for endpoint, which is the object snap here, which is the first point here. Okay, I can as well activate this midpoint. Midpoint center. I can put this center there. Intersection is good for me. tangents. I also like tangents. Okay, you don't have to uh, you don't have to pick everyone. Even sometimes in some drawings, in order not to have too many complexity, I can uncheck as many as possible. But for the sake of being a beginner, just check as many as you would need, right? So I think what I have here is basically okay for now, right? Then another one on these menus of this drafting setting is the dynamic input here. These dynamic input, which is very, very important. The dynamic input shows real-time command previews near the cursor. Okay, it shows. So we're going to see how this also plays out. So if I click on the dynamic input tab, for example, you can see that is enabled. Okay, is enabled, and this also is enable dimension input where possible. Okay, it also enable pointer input, because this is what actually, so we are going to click on OK. So this is what enables that once we select a command, for example, if I enter a line command, okay, you can see that there is a preview that is shown here, which is this. You can see there's a preview that is shown here. So that is the essence of the dynamic input. So that's why we have this, such that as we're moving the cursor, it shows us a preview that is near the cursor that we can put in certain information that we want to put in there. Okay, so as I'm moving, I can press it and move. You can see that it's showing the preview as I'm moving the line. It's showing the preview as I'm moving. You can see the distance of the line, the length of the line. You can see it's increasing. So that is one of the work of the dynamic input. So for now, you can also try to enable your auto mode and draw a line, and notice how it only moves vertically or horizontally. All right. So another one we will be looking at now is these model layout spaces. Okay, it's very important you understand that. All right. If you look at these model here, this model tab here, this is the model tab. Okay, when you open a new drawing or even an existing drawing, this black interface, this first interface you're going to see is called the model space. It's called the model space. That's why you have the model space. Okay, it's called the model space. This is actually where you draw. Okay, so these lines is actually where you draw everything you need to draw. Okay, then beside it here we have the layout space. Okay, or those days we call it paper space. Okay, so if I click on the layout space, so this is actually where you arrange your drawing to be printed, or we say to be plotted. Okay, this is more like anything I draw, on this space. Anything I draw on this space, I can viewport it. Then let me just try and draw. Let me just make a circular draw or something. You can see that the cycle I drew is actually displaying here. Okay, so anything you draw on in this model space gets reflected in the layout space. So this is where we prepare the drawings, add our title page, and our lines, title page, the name, your name, the scalings, and every other information before we print out. On this layout space also, you can set whether you want to print to, you can even change the size of this layout to either A4, A2, A3, as the case may be. So it's very important you understand the connection between the model space and layout. So layout is basically like a camera that is viewing the model space as you are drawing. Okay, so that once you are through, you see the reflection of what you have drawn in the model space here. Okay, so in future lessons, you will get to understand many of the functions how to change different settings. Okay, so this will be all for now. In the next lesson, we will move ahead on the navigation aspect, which is the how to use the navigation tools, other aspects of the workspace, including setting up your drawing environment and other aspects. Okay, so thank you. Bye for now.